So I'll tell you this, today and tomorrow, just make sure you understand today and tomorrow, it's pivotal. It's important that you follow and you understand because this is kind of, we're almost done after this. But I can't tell you, give you all the different scenarios. I'm gonna expose you to them in terms of assigning, and then it's up to you to confront those, to come across those examples and be like, I don't, either you know how to do it, or you're like, you know what, I need a bit more explanation. So I'm gonna kind of leave it in your court to ask me things that you don't understand. I will do examples, but I can't do them all, so you gotta be able to follow along. So on page 23, we talked about the different regions, and we talked about the notation and the keywords that give away the fact and tell us where to put them, right? That's gonna be very important to know where to put the numbers, okay? Now, I need you to have this formula. I know it looks very ugly, but this is the principle of inclusion and exclusion. This is pi, okay, 3 sets. If you have 3 sets, then this is the formula for pi. And you're like, that looks very ugly, Mr. Erickson. Yes, but I will show you that it actually boils down to all of these are going to be numbers at some point, and there's going to be one missing, and you're going to solve for that one, okay? So what does this formula tell us? That the union of all 3 sets, and write this down on your formula, right? The union of all 3 sets, you got to make sure if the universal is given, that you're going to take away outliers. Right? Whatever number goes on the left-hand side is universal minus outliers if they give them to you. If there are no outliers, the question guarantees you no outliers, guess what? -0, like you're not going to have to worry about it. But what are we adding? Maybe I'll do my diagram at the same time. What are we adding? We're adding all of A, then we're adding all of B, and all of C, and we've double counted a bunch of times by doing that, right guys? Like we've double counted all the intersections. So guess what? We take away all 3 intersections, and then we add, what do we add? What is this? Notation-wise. Where is this located? Middle. This is the center. So we basically take away, these are the 3 intersections. Take them away, and then you add the center. This is the middle. So that is your pattern, guys. Add up all 3 sets, subtract all the intersections, and then add the middle. If you do this, you'll be able to solve for the one missing piece. And I'll make it a little sweeter for you in a bit. We'll just keep writing some more things down here. Okay, so I want you to write this down to remember when you're going through this. So recall. Working with 3 sets does not mean that some information is only applied to 2 sets. What am I talking about there, right? Let me bring this up for you. Working with 3 sets doesn't mean that some information is only applied to 2 sets. And I think you know what I'm talking about because it's been happening today already. Like sometimes is the intersection of only two. So example, let's say you have 3 sets. We call that A, B, and C. If you read the question and for some reason it says that the number of people that are in applied or biology is 50, the number of students is 50. The C is chemistry, let's say. We're talking about these 3 courses. Does this information apply to all 3 sets? No, right? It only applies to A or B. It means literally that this information, the 50, is only applicable to whatever is in A and B, right? A or B, I should say. So don't mix them up, or don't be surprised if I do that or if the questions do that. It's part of it. You're going to mix it up. 2 sets, 3 sets, okay? And we're going to slowly fill in with information. Now let's go to page 24. Okay, this is a little crazy, the examples that you're about to see, but don't despair. I think after you've tried a few, this is more for when you review, you're like, oh yeah, I know what I'm talking about, right? So here are some scenarios to consider. If the middle is given, simply move out and fill it the rest. So I will say this, no pi required. In my opinion, if the middle is given, meaning the question will say there's 5 students that are taking applied math, biology, and chemistry. Boom, you have that middle number. It's key. That unlocks everything for you. We're going to start with that today. Okay? No pi required. Then there is the other scenarios. I'm going to zoom out on this one. So you can almost draw a line. Right? We've got the no pi required. The middle is given. You didn't see the line, but there it is. Everything down here will require pi. Will require that long formula. Here it is one more time. Okay? What are the scenarios? I have a little note here for me. So the middle is unknown. That's something that I need you to know. Let me focus. The middle is question mark, and all intersections are given. All intersections are given. Do you see that? All intersections are given. What does that mean? We have those numbers outside. Okay? I need you to put like a little arrow in there because you're going to think those are outliers, correct? Those are not outliers in this case. Those numbers represent what's in the intersection. Got it, guys? It's whatever's in the intersection. So maybe we'll do this. You have all 3 intersections. Like they'll give you that. I will make this a little bit more specific. All of the ands given. How's that? All of the ands are given. So applied and chemistry, applied and biology, biology and chemistry. All of the ands are given. Next, remember pi is still necessary. The middle is still unknown. Question mark. They're not going to tell you how many are in all three sets. They're just not going to tell you that. I will say this. How should I call, what should I call this? Three partial intersections. Emphasis on partial. That means that you're going to be given, you're going to get the A and B, but not C. Okay? I will put quotations under that. Some keywords, but not, or only. Highlight that part. And what I mean by partial intersections is that they're only going to give you the ones that I made you add to your notes earlier. They're going to give you those partial intersections, not the whole thing. So they're just going to give you this, this, and this. Okay? From that, because remember, what does pi need? Pi always needs the three intersections, correct? It needs it. So guess what? To refer to this intersection here, would it make sense to call it 6 plus x? 6 and x would be the whole intersection here, correct? Over here, 5 plus x, 7 plus x, right? So you have to write all the intersections in terms of x. That is what makes this one unique. Trust me, you're going to recognize it once we get there, so don't worry about it too much right now if you don't get it. Once we do them, you'll see what I'm talking about. The last one, I call them mixed. It's a mix match between these two here. Okay, so let's call that mixed. It's a mixed. You've got intersections and partial intersections. Yikes, didn't make it there. So the middle is still unknown. That's the theme of this, right? The bottom, the 2/3 of this page is always in the middle is unknown. And I'll just put a bullet on both of those. And do you see the difference? I will maybe use the plus x. So here you were given partial intersections, but guess what? The 7, it actually gave you the whole thing here. So it gave you that there's 7 students in applied or biology. It gave you the whole thing. Okay. And now we're going to start the word problem series. Fun, eh? Yeah, don't get too excited, guys. Calm down. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start with the easy one. Middle is given. Okay? We're going to start with that today. I would say the easiest of all of them. So here we go. Don't worry about the types too much. Let the type mean nothing to you right now. I just want you to think of, is the middle given? or is the middle not given? If the middle is given, it's the easier one, no pi. If the middle is not given, then it's a different story. Okay, so let's try this here. Rachel surveyed grade 12 students about how they communicated with friends over the previous week. Below are the results. Use a Venn diagram to justify your answers. I'd say immediately you should go to Venn diagram, even if it doesn't ask you. 66% called on a cell phone. So let's make that set C, that's 66%. 76% texted. 34% used a social networking site. Let's call that S. Okay. 56% called on a cell phone and texted. What is this? This is an and, right? So we would translate that to cell phone and texted, like this. That's 56%. Is this a whole or a partial intersection? It's a whole intersection. It's just and, okay? 18% called on a cell phone and used a social networking site. That is a cell phone and S, right? That's 18. 19% texted and used social networking. So T and S, that's 19%. 12% used all three forms of communication. What is that one? All three? Central, middle. So how would we write this? That's C and T and S. Like, it doesn't matter which order you write them in. That's 12%. This is the middle. Okay, very important. No pi required. Okay. Question: if it's percentage, what's the universal? 100. So I don't need to give you the universal. It is the universal. So note. Percentages, that means that N of U is 100%. So they don't need to give you the universal if it's percentages. I'm going to highlight that. Okay, let's draw our, even though they ask us a bunch of questions, I'm going to ask you to fill in your Venn diagram first and foremost. So 3 sets, right? 1, 2. Don't make them too small because then you need space to work, right? So this would be C, S, T. I don't care which order you put them in. Just make sure you do that right. So this would be 66%. S would be 34%. T is 76%. Put your box around it. We've got C and T. C and T is 56. Common mistake, guys, is this. Don't write this down, right? 56. That is saying C and T but not S. So that's wrong. What the 56 is talking about is the whole intersection. So what I do is I make a 56% outside here, making an arrow, telling myself that that represents this whole thing here, the intersection between those two sets. It's a whole intersection. Then it's CNS. CNS over here, that is 18%. TNS or SNT is out here. That is 18%. Am I doing all right so far? No mistakes before we dive in? Okay. Which one? This one is supposed to be TNS, 19. CNS, oh yeah. Thank you. Okay, I think we're good. We know the middle, that's 12%. We're good to go. That unlocks everything for us. So now we're going to zoom in and let's fill that in. I'm going to use a red pen for everything that I'm filling in now after the information has been given. If this is 12, what's this going to be? 19 minus 12, right? That leaves me with 7. Okay. And then if this is 56, if the whole thing is 56, then this would be 56 minus 12. That's 44. %are just in here, okay? That's what that is saying. 18 minus 12, right? You can go 18 minus 12, that is 6%. You don't have to show me that work later on. It's up to you. And keep moving out now. How do I get this region right here on its own? We're going to go 34 minus, be creative here. I'm going to use 18. 18 is all of this, correct? So I'm going to subtract 18, and I'm going to subtract the little 7 here. Again, if you want to do it this way, you just go minus 6, minus 12, minus 7. You'll get the same answer. So that would be 9%. Okay, so you got that. Move over to here. This would be 66 minus. I'm going to use the fact that this is 56, because remember, you want to take away these 3 numbers from 66 to get that. So I know that this is 56 already, right? And then minus 6 yet. So this should give you 4%. And then this one down here, you go 76 minus, you want to take away these 3 numbers here, this one, that one, and this one. Maybe I'll do it the long way here. So 44, 12, and 7. Because remember, if you need to do this to help you stay focused, right, on that set, right? I'm saying 76 is all of this, and I'm taking away the regions that are already taken up because I just want this region right here. And I'm left with 13. And maybe I should highlight, smudging it a bit. Does that make sense how I filled it in? We're good? And now they can ask us anything they want, and technically we can give them the answer. I'm rushing a little bit. I'm missing something. I should check something. Never forget about the outliers. Never forget about the outliers. Okay, so don't forget to check for outliers. Tell yourself that, okay, on the study sheet. Because it'd be too bad if you miss it. So let's go U is equal to 100%. Don't forget about that. So we're going to check for outliers. I'm going to do that right here. 100 minus, I'm going to take the 66 because all of this is 66. I'm going to go minus 66, minus 9, minus 7, minus 13. and I get 5%. So this outlier, I will place it here, and it's 5%. So if you add up every single number that you've come up with, you should add up to 100%, okay? Or whatever the universal happens to be. In this case, it is 100%. B. Oh, so A, what does A ask? What percent of students used at least one of the 3 forms of communication? What is this asking for? I'm going to highlight to give it away. If you still don't get it, I have more work to do. What does it ask for if it's at least one? It's the union of all, right? Of the 3. So you've got options. You add up everything that's in those 3 sets, or universal minus outliers, right? You're going to end up with 95%. Okay, so A, asking for, can you see that? Asking for N of C union S union T, which is 100 minus 5, so it's 95%. Okay, this is these are the outliers, and this is the universal. B. What percent of students texted and used a social media networking site but did not use a cell phone? Let's translate that to notation. You don't have to if I don't ask you for it, but it's asking for texted and social network but did not use a cell phone. I did this with you not too long ago, right? So let's go and get it. So even if your Venn diagram sucks, you got everything wrong, if you get the right number and you put the number down here, you still get the marks for this part. You would lose marks for the Venn diagram, but you still get this. So T and S, but not C, that would be 7. I tried to make it so that no number is double in the Venn diagram. So sometimes that's difficult, but 7% is your answer there. C, what percent of students use a cell phone and social networking, but did not text? Cell phone, social network, did not text. That would be 6, right? The 6%. S and C, not T. That's the 6. D, what percent of students only used a cell phone, only texted, or only used social networking? What is it asking for? It's asking for these, and these students, right? So it's the one that only used the cell phone, only social networking, or only this. So it's all the onlys of that set, okay? So it would be 4 plus 9 plus 13. So it's 26% of students. What's that? As N, do I want to get into it right now? No. I think you're going to be okay without.
Performing arts students who just performed for feeder schools.
We'll leave
Would
it.
you please make sure that you find a place to be right now in the band room, choir room, or dance room, rather than being in the hallway?
I think I actually have to check right now. You caught me in a. Now I'm thinking. I wonder if it's. If you want C only, it's C, not S, sorry. If you want cell phone only, C, not S, not T. I think this is the notation for that one. I'll have to check. ChatGPT. And I'll get back to you tomorrow. What percent of students called on a cell phone or used a social networking site? What is this asking for? I'm actually very curious. You're already thinking of other things, I know. What is this asking for in set notation? Hey, I'll come back. Anybody? N of cell phone. What does or mean for us? What symbol do we use for or? Union, yeah. Or is union. Okay, that's and is intersect. U is union is or. What would go over here? S. Just cause. Just cause. What is it asking for? Only 2 sets, right? Even though we have 3, we're only going to focus on the union of those 2. So let's go find cuz. So it's just these 2 here. Okay? Keep looking up until you get it. Right? It's the union of those 2 sets right here. So right there. So what I'm going to do is this. 66. Okay, I'm going to take that number. I'm going to write it down. You can't see it right now, I know. And I'm going to go plus 9 and 7. That's, for me, the quickest way of doing that. 66, 9, and 7 shows that. So it's one way of showing your work. I would like to add something to D, and then I'll leave you alone, okay? You did very well today, guys. D could also be written as follows. Only used one service. Only used one service, or yeah, service, I'll just call it that way. So if they ask how many students used exactly just one service, it would be these ones, the 26% of students. You could ask how many students had none of these services, 5%, that'd be your outliers and so forth. So here are the pages that go with this particular type of question, okay? Try pages is going to be a little scattered. So 26 to 27, 32, and 34. The questions are somewhat scattered. So for this type, that's where you find them. Okay? All right, I'm done. I'll give you I'll post the key